We're in. And we see nothing. This is what I see off the bat. There's a cow. Oh my Lanta. This isn't even a challenge item. Hey craft buddy, welcome back to Whiskey and Wit and another round of the mystery box challenge. This box has given me so much anxiety and I don't even know what's inside. So let's open it. So if you're new here, welcome. This is Whiskey and Wit. My name is Whitney, and while that may have sounded super dramatic, I'm not even kidding. The lead up to getting this box to my house has been insane, and this box, without further ado, came to me from Courtney. Now, I packed up a box and sent it over to Jay at J Money DIY, and I think I was nicer to Jay than Courtney's about to be to me, but you'll have to watch Jay's video next to be the judge. We're just gonna jump in. We're gonna do it, and while I'm opening this, the mystery box challenge, if you're new, is a challenge created by Courtney, who is the sender of this box, and every time she tries to make it harder, more intense, and she can be pretty ruthless with her challenge items and twists and things. So in this box there are items from anywhere. It's an anywhere goes box. I have to craft with as many of them as I can in this box if I can get it open. And the twist this time is that she has a project in here that she's made, that she sent me a picture of, that I'm gonna have to try to recreate. We're in. And we see nothing. Okay, bunch of bags in here. This is what I see off the bat. There's a cow. Oh my Lanta. I have to play this voice text message she sent me because it is too much.
Guess what I'm doing? I'm digging. I'm digging for a project idea for you.
Which normally wouldn't be an issue.
I might be a little nice, but fair warning, I might also be a little mean. Just know that I still love you, and remember the treat that you're going to treat yourself to that I sent you yesterday when you open your box.
Is she playing mind games with me? I don't even know. And I just sent back sweaty palms. Stuff. Oh my god, this is worse than I thought. This isn't even a challenge item. She sent me a hockey puck. Courtney, oh my gosh. You're gonna make an example out of me, aren't you? Okay. Okay. I do like Werther's. Ooh, and their caramel coffee. Okay. Oh, it's a cute card with the little shoes. So Courtney always says that she has a bulletin board with cards that she gets from the mystery box, so I actually implemented that in my craft room because I thought it was so cute too. Hey there, my sweet, creative, awesome friend. No beating around the bush. This box is filled with a smorgasbord. I would have never known how to spell the word smorgasbord, so good for you, of items. Was I easy on you? I think yes. However, you may think no. Your 2 challenge items are in the very special pouch made just for you. I know you will nail this box. Much love, Court. Okay, not too bad. Dollar Tree wood crate. Then we've got cute little paper straws. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. I'm not like passing out yet. We've got snails. She knows I like this cutting board because this is what I use with the torch paste. So maybe in Courtney's honor, we'll have to use some torch paste, question mark. We also have a little wood sign. Thrift store find. Okay, not terrible. But like that is a creepy looking cow to me. Oh, but I just got an idea. You guys, I can't. So she made me a patch. DIY YouTuber of the year. It's like a version of a play button, but in a bag. This is gonna be bad. If she took the time to send all these extra fun goodies. I think that was like a Trojan horse right there. Like, here's a fun little bag and a compliment for you. Let's hit you with the challenge items. Sequin swatch. Shut up. I have no words for these challenge items. Oh boy, okay. And for your twist, I have to recreate this. Okay. You guys, I'm gonna need some time after I have a plan and we'll get DIYing. Okay friends, I don't know if I'm better or worse off now a couple days later after letting all these items percolate, but we're just gonna jump right into it. First up, we're gonna grab this Dollar Tree buffalo check sign, and the first thing I wanted to do was remove the front chalkboard piece, and it actually turned into a happy accident because I busted it and had to pivot. I wanted to create a plaque for this door hanging basket that I recently got half off at Michael's because they're getting rid of a lot of their spring stuff, and I just got this, so you should be able to find it this weekend or in the next couple weeks. Now, I had to pivot and use the back piece, and it actually worked out perfect because I could use the hanger to hook it to the basket and make it removable. I just painted the back of it with some black chalk paint, so it was just a bigger version of the sign I wanted. And then I cut out this simple, just everyday cut file on my Cricut and applied it with paper transfer tape. Super quick and easy, and I love that I could create more of these for different seasons. I can just loop the hanger around the basket because the sign's not too heavy. It hooks on there super nice, and I could change this out for whatever season I wanted. Now for the basket, I love that it's a wreath alternative, and I just added some of these sale hydrangeas I got at that Michael's sale as well. It's perfect for the door heading out to our deck and a great wreath alternative if you're looking to mix it up. We're going to tackle this cow project head on. Now, when I was unboxing it, I could see a piece of fruit like clearly. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but stay tuned to see. I started by going outside, clamping it to my table, creating a straight line, and then using my jigsaw to chop off that cow piece at the top because that was just not doing me any favors for my vision. I took that piece of cow and cut it down super MacGyver style, but I was looking for kind of a rustic rectangle shape. Then using my orbital sander and 100 grit sandpaper, I sanded down all of the edges. I removed the paint and I also got it down to raw wood, which I liked better than kind of that yellowish color. Then it was time to transform it into the fruit. So I got some red and green paint, and I'm sure if you didn't know before, now you know what I was seeing. I did the outside in a darker green, the middle part kind of like a upside down rainbow in a lighter green, and then a red. Now I'm doing all three of these while the other colors are still wet, so I can kind of buff it out so it looks more like an ombre than stark lines. I headed to Pinterest to find a hand-painted watermelon to allow me to kind of recreate a picture. I'm not super good at thinking of things to paint, especially in this style I'm doing. So by pulling up an image on Pinterest, it really helps get my ideas flowing and helps me get going. Now with paint markers, I'm doing a variety of different shapes like I saw in the Pinterest image. And I wanted to add some dots, but this red and white mixture that I usually do was too bubblegum pink, so I went back over the top with some red, and I had to fix those little white scallops that I made. But once I did that, it looked way more like my vision, and then I added some seeds just by hand drawing with my favorite Amazon paint markers and adding some little white ticks to make it look a little more country rustic. Once that was all done, I took my white paint pen and just like flicked some of the extra paint onto the top to give some little red dots, and then we're gonna grab our little snail friends. I just cut the top off with my tin snips so then that way the little snail ears wouldn't hang out over the top of my sign. And I cut out this fun little Rind County Watermelon Festival ahead sign. If you are a country fan from the 90s and you know the song Watermelon Crawl, that phrase sounded familiar to you, but it allowed me to just add some fun pop culture into my home, which you guys know I love to do. I love this so much, and it's going to be perfect for our 4th of July party to use for napkins and silverware. Up next, we're checking off 2 items, both the cutting board as well as this little Dollar Tree crate. Now, the cutting board is from Walmart, but Dollar Tree also has cutting boards, so you could do this with Dollar Tree items and make it fully Dollar Tree. Starting by painting the crate white and my cutting board a sandstone color, and then I'm going to add some lines to create a base for the cool part of this project. Now, if I were to do this again, I would paint the cutting board white and I would omit the lines, but you know, we learn as we go, and I wanted to share this with you because it did turn out good, but I think I could have made it better. Then I headed over to Canva and scanned in one of my grandma's, great-grandma actually, recipes that was in her handwriting on a card. Now, I could do this with my Cricut, but I wanted to show you guys this technique. I'm just combining the front and the back of an index card in Canva really quickly, but if you just have it on one sheet, it makes it a lot easier. I wanted to do it this way because there are literally marks on this recipe that look like sticky fingers that were from my grandma that I wanted to keep with the character. So what I'm going to do is add both that to the size I wanted it, as well as a picture in case you don't want to do this with a recipe. I got the picture from the Navage patch. They have a ton of free printables. If you love mine, check them out. I will link them down below. But we're going to print these onto tissue paper to make some really cool effects on our signs. So I'm taking just some white tissue paper, regular old tissue paper. I'm going to cut it down kind of to size and then press it down on the lowest setting with my Easy Press. You could do this with an iron as well. You don't need a Cricut Easy Press. That's just what I have. Then we're going to take tape and tape it around the outside, making sure the tape isn't overhanging. I'm going to insert it into my printer just like I would regular paper, and it's kind of like if you're printing labels, you want to make sure that the right side is going to be printed on. But once you do, you're going to have a really thin, like custom tissue paper style of your recipe or whatever you want to print out. This would be great for photos as well. Then to hook it to the sign, I'm going to do my Mod Podge trick. So I'm going to take some Mod Podge, put it down, and let it dry. Now I actually saw someone using a recipe like this on TikTok, and that's where I got the idea. The account's called Barefoot and Freckled, and she is actually the person that inspired that first time that I did the Mod Podge trick, so I will link her channel down below. So once we cut everything off, you can discard the paper. We just want the tissue paper. And once that Mod Podge is dry, we're going to re-engage it with some heat. This is just a Teflon sheet I like to put over the top to protect the image. And you can also use parchment paper if you don't have a Teflon sheet. But if you do a lot of heat pressing, I would recommend it. Then all you have to do is rough it up with some sandpaper to get any excess off. And I love how high-end this looks, and it sits up on its own because of the thickness of the tray. Now I'm doing the same thing here on my cutting board, applying that and then just tying some jute twine on the top. And you can make your recipe as small or as large as you want. You could also add an image of the person that created the recipe. There are so many different options, but this is a great way to get something super custom and personalized without needing to use a Cricut or any other heavy machines. Now let's tackle this recreation challenge that she sent me. So I happened to find these that look just like those marshmallows. They are little wood blocks from Dollar Tree. I started by painting those white and letting them dry. Then I had to create some ones to stick in the top of the drink. So I used some of this Model Magic. I use this every Christmas to create faux marshmallows for my decor. So I thought this would be perfect. I made 4 of those just so I had an extra in case something happened because I only needed 3. And then I took some more of that Model Magic and kind of flattened it out and cut a shape similar to the little graham cracker. I used my Cricut weeding tool to make the little holes, and then I let that start to dry. So while the Model Magic started to set up, I went to Dollar Tree. I found the same cup that she had, and so this was kind of chaotic sourcing everything, but I think I did okay. Just stay tuned, stick with me. This is kind of stream of conscious. I ended up doing 3 coats of the color Nutmeg Brown to make it look like there was hot cocoa or coffee in the cup. And then I trimmed out a piece of cardboard just from the box that she sent me so I could have something to put the topper on. She sent me some of these Surebonder colored glue sticks that she likes to use. Usually I do fake chocolate with a paint, which I'll show in a little bit, but I ended up just removing the red hot glue gun that she had in this glue gun she sent me. Thank you. She did come through for that, so she gets a gold star. I was sassy before, but I really did appreciate this, Courtney, so thank you so much. Then we're just going to use the hot glue gun to put some chocolate or fake chocolate on top and have drips down the side. I like to tap it on the table, and that helps create a little bit more realistic drips instead of having to make them yourself. Then I went to Michael's to see if they had any fake sprinkles because I'm a procrastinator and I did this closer to when I couldn't order them online to get shipped to me in time, but it worked out great. It was in their resin section. We're going to use some more of that chocolate hot glue to hook our cardboard down and then cover the corrugated edge with the fake chocolate so it's got like drips down the side. And so I let that set up, and the great part about the hot glue versus the paint I'm going to use in a second is it actually is much quicker to set up, so I do like that in that regard. So I needed something to hold up the whipped cream, so I took a styrofoam ball that I had in my stash, cut it in half, glued one to the top, and then I used this other one to stick these toothpicks in with my little marshmallows so I could put the chocolate on those and let them dry. Now, this was not smart. I ended up taking the other ones out after I tapped it down and got a really pretty cascade, and I dropped it right on my fake graham cracker. But that's okay. All's well in the world. I was able to fix it. Once I covered all of those, I did my other 2 like wood block marshmallows in my tulip paint that I like to do the faux chocolate in. Now this, I think, is easier to work with the way that I make them. However, it does take overnight to dry. So there's pros and cons to both. Once my graham cracker dried overnight, I painted it in Territorial Beige, and I used the remainder of my little chocolate hot glue to make some little sprinkles because she had chocolate sprinkles, which I couldn't find at Michael's. So I just put them on a silicone mat, broke them off once they had cooled, and it worked great. Now this was an adventure. I decided to get a little bit better quality lightweight spackling because I had never used this before. I usually use Dollar Tree, and the Dollar Tree stuff is a little bit more dry, so you need to add paint to it. Well, let me tell you, this lightweight spackling from the actual hardware store gets a little bit too runny. I also put my mixture into a piping bag before I put the tip on, so I was just batting 1,000 with this. And, you know, it happens, especially when you're trying to recreate something. And I think this twist is a great way to show you guys that sometimes when you're trying to make somebody else's project, you know, you got to make it your own and you got to pivot. So my whipped cream is like dying on me, so I think I'm going to have to redo it. Ugh. Without the paint. Yes, indeed, it was too runny, so I ended up having to remove the entire thing before it had set, and we tried again. So the first thing I did was create a base layer, so I just did a circle around the outside, and then another quick circle in the center. I let that set up for about 15 minutes, and then I did the second one. So minus paint and doing 2 layers, letting it set up, worked so much better. I ended up sticking a toothpick inside of my graham cracker as well to help it sit up because the Model Magic doesn't dry hard, and it ended up working just fine. And then I added my faux little sprinkles to the top as well. I let that set completely overnight, and then the next morning, because I was out of hot glue sticks that Courtney sent me, I used some of my tulip paint for the chocolate, and I'm glad that I waited to do that until the next day. The last thing I really needed to do was add a little sticker, and because I obviously didn't have her file, I made my own. I just cut it out on some sticker paper, stuck it to the cup, and I think I did pretty good, but let's see what the expert says.
Hey guys, I'm currently on a cruise ship, but I just got an email from Whitney to show me her recreation of my project, so I'm gonna open it up here on my phone and take a look. Oh my gosh, so good. It's so good, and I love the Whiskey Coast sticker. I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. Whitney just kills everything she does. It sounds kind of bad, but you know what I mean. Good job, girl.
I feel like I should be thanking the Academy after that video, but for real, I didn't think she was gonna send me a video back and say, actually, it looks terrible. But I'm super happy with this. I think this is really cute. And I also wanted to create a sign to go with the set. And so when I picked up this sign from Dollar Tree Crafters Square, I thought it kind of resembled a s'more already. So I painted the top and bottom of the 3 sections in that Territorial beige to look like graham crackers. And then I went back through with some more of that tulip puffy paint. I put it on just the line and then tapped it on the table. It gave me a really nice cascade of the chocolate to look like an ooey gooey marshmallow. I let that completely set up, and then I just added a cute little s'mores bar decal, which I will have available if you want to make this sign. I will have the file over on my blog for you. Go ahead and stick it down, and then it is good to go. It was a little plain, so I added a little bit of jute twine, but overall, I think the whole s'mores situation turned out really cute, and this will be great in my decor all summer long. All right, now we've got some challenge items, sequins, and a bib. We are going to tackle the baby bib first, and after literally 2 weeks of thinking, I had an idea hit me. I looked over to my craft closet, and I saw that I had a ton of felt in my stash, and so I decided to go that route. I started by using some detailed scissors to trim the green ribbon-like border on the bib and put that aside. Then I created this in Design Space, so if you want to create this project, you can go over and literally just hit make it. I'm cutting it on Cricut felt, which you can cut with any Cricut with a fine point blade, so that is great too. It's more accessible than just cutting it on regular felt. I also created this hooray for the first day because Mr. Finn, if you can believe it, is starting preschool in the fall. And so I wanted to find ways to create excitement leading up to that because it's the first time he's headed out to do something really on his own, which I'm so excited for. But I thought a pennant like this would be so cute for that first day, for photos, and he loves things like this. So once I had my shape cut out, I'm just gluing it together, and I added a extra piece of those little snail sticks to the center just to make it a little thicker. And then I just chopped up both the bib border as well as some jute twine to create a little tassel. So when he's using the pennant and kind of waving it around, it's got some extra movement to it. Once I trimmed my ends, I also used a felt ball that I had in my stash just to add a little bit more color because there was a lot of green going on. Hindsight, I probably should have made the pennant not the same color as the bib, but you know, I was a little frazzled about the bib anyway. But I am glad that it turned out the way that it did because it is not a fail, and I'm so excited for him, for a new adventure, and for this to be a fun photo prop. Now, because I did hooray for the first day, you could use this for whatever hooray first day you need it for. It could be the first day of a new job. It could be the first day of a new adventure, whatever you want to use it for. Now that got me thinking that I could also use the paper straws for some fun decor for my craft room using the same idea. So I removed these little hibiscus flowers just because I wanted to use just the pink handle part, and I cut some smaller versions. Again, these are available on that project over on Design Space as well. I glued, folded them in half, and I did a variety of different craft ones. So craft, DIY, a glue gun, crazy craft lady, hooray you did it. So a lot of different things for my craft room to just celebrate the everyday and to add some fun color. Now this hockey puck you would think was a challenge item, but it wasn't. It was just a regular craft item. I don't know who crafts every day with a hockey puck, but I know I don't. I started by painting it black and let it sit for probably 4 days because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And then it hit me. So I originally bought this fence picket sign from Dollar Tree because Courtney made a really cute directional sign for Christmas a couple years ago with different Christmas movies. And then she also did a summer one, and I've wanted to make one for my Christmas setup for a while. So I ended up just breaking apart all of the different arrows, sanding it down, and then I cut 2 of the snails off of the snail sticks again. The snail sticks actually came in really good handy for this video. I was like, what are you gonna do with snails on a stick? Well, a lot of things apparently. I glued 2 of them together to make it a little bit thicker, and then I'm using hot glue to stick it to the center of my hockey puck to create a stand. So once that was setting up, I went through and used some antique wax by Waverly and did a faux staining technique just because I wanted it to look like stain, but at this point in the game, I needed to get this video done and I needed a quicker solution other than waiting, a while for it to dry. You just put it on like stain, wipe it off, and it dries in about an hour versus a few. I used my Cricut to cut out a variety of sayings that would fit the little pieces. You just want to measure those little arrows depending on what you're using. And from me peeling this off, you probably know the direction I'm going. I mean, when I said Christmas movie, you probably knew the direction I was going if you know me. But I ended up doing a Christmas Vacation one. And if you aren't a hardcore, you probably don't know what a Nutritox headquarters is, but that is actually the name of the company that Clark works for. I decided to do a, multiple angle, kind of like those signs you see in Key West where it's like 100 miles here, whatever. But this is going to be so fun in my little Griswold setup. I can't wait to see what it looks like. I was not about to try to bring out all my Christmas stuff because it's in the back of my storage. I actually just recently ordered these little Department 56 inspired little trinkets. So if you're interested, I will have the links down below on where I got those. And now let's grab the sequins. So my idea originally wasn't that terrifying. I was like, how hard could this be? I grabbed the sequins and thought, okay, I could take these jean shorts and make the back 2 pockets really fun and sequiny. Well, I'm not a small individual, so I didn't have enough sequins to do both pockets. So I ended up saying, okay, I'm just going to do a 1 pocket decal and then maybe the one in the front. So I laid it out and started trimming the sequins, and this was a hot mess. As you can see, they're flying everywhere. But I cut a piece to the size of the pocket, and then I used the scrap to cover this 1 pocket in the front. It literally looked like it snowed sequins. It's not as bad as glitter, but it's pretty close, and I was just over it at this point. Then I had to hook it to the shorts. I looked at all of the different adhesives that I had at home, and none of them were recommended for washables except for hot glue, but I didn't want to have to sit on sequins plus hot glue. That just didn't make a lot of sense, even though I have hot glue fabric sticks. So I decided to use some Dollar Tree cotton twine to stitch it on. Now, if you are a sewer, you are probably throwing things at your phone, TV, wherever you're watching this right now. And please know, I'm not claiming to be a sewer. I make pillows with hot glue. So you guys know I'm not trying to be anything I'm not out here. But I made it happen. Was it pretty? No. Did it take me a lot longer than I thought? Yes. Were there sequins everywhere? Yes. Was I yelling at the shorts? Yes. Was I using this as a stress reliever to pet the sequins one way, pet them the other way before I hype myself up to do the front pocket? Also, absolutely yes. The front pocket, the craftsmanship is probably not to the level that I would like it, but at this point I was like, I need to just get these done because I'm about to throw them at the wall. So in summary, this is not the worst DIY I've ever done. It is definitely not the best DIY I've ever done. These might get a couple wears, and I'm not going to heavily wash them because the sequins will get probably all over my washing machine. But this is the mystery box challenge, and I pressed on, and I am pretty proud of myself that I did it. And after it was done, I did this about 80 times because it helped send me out about the project and the box overall. Whew, we made it through that box. Honestly, I do feel like that was probably the hardest one. That baby bib, the hockey puck, that wasn't even a challenge item, that creepy cow, that thing might haunt my dreams for a little bit. Thanks for sending me a super challenging box, Courtney, but I will remember this. Next time I send you a box, just... you remember that, girlfriend. Next up for you, though, is Jay's video at J Money DIY. I sent her a box, and I sent her a project, one of mine to recreate. You guys will have to go over there and let me know what you think of what I sent to her. And then continue throughout the playlist that will be down in the description. It will loop you all the way back around to Courtney's video and then back here to me. And hit subscribe if this is your first time here so you don't miss a future Whiskey and Whit video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye! So I just hit on record for the first part, and I already need one of these, so we're gonna have a candy. And I just texted Courtney and said, just open the box. No punctuation. Ooh, banners are good.